Oh gosh, it's been a while. It's been a very, very long time. Um, but yeah, I'm back. A lot has happened. A lot has happened, like in the South African political scale, especially when coming to the Mdlanga Commission as well as the ad hoc committee just happening in Parliament. So, but yeah, um, I first wanted to like go back to a couple of things, but I will focus on what is currently actually going on with both. So, yeah, Mdlanga Commission on, was it Thursday? Thursday we actually found out like some good revelations, apart from because they had they had witness A, B, and C, and those were anonymous um, witnesses. So witness C actually revealed a lot. So these are the police who are or were involved in the task team, and they also spoke about witness C was actually telling us about how they came to arrest Vusmuzi Cat Matlala, and yeah, it's an interesting tale, considering what Bigitale even said at the ad hoc regarding Riah, the former National Police Commissioner, and the fact that Cat Matlala um, had come from one of her properties the day that he was arrested, and that he was being tailed by these investigators. Oh, yeah, by the investigators from the task team. So it's quite interesting. It really is quite interesting. I think Riah might have to come either to the commission or to the ad hoc to actually explain a lot. Explain one of the things as well, that how is it that our police went from being ranked 4 to them being ranked 40 in the world. That was quite a big jump, and that talks a lot about the leadership within the police department. And yeah, as head, she needs to explain a lot, and as Bigitale put it, that the National Police Commissioner has, in a way, you can say that they are a bit more important or a bit more higher and senior uh, than the police minister. So yeah, the police commissioner has a great responsibility, just as we can also, in a way, also blame the current national commissioner for the state of the police services. So a lot of accountability. I agree with Ian Cameron when he said that to both both when he said to the deputy, the now suspended deputy police commissioner Shadrack Sibiya, that him and Masumula actually have a lot to account for, and they always that as South Africans, they definitely always that. Even though in a way, you can advise, you can give as many opinions as you can about the state of the police, but if at all the man on top, which is the minister, does not implement anything, then it really boils down to that, because police minister goes directly um, to the president, and that's also their doing. But it was quite interesting because Witness C also spoke about he touched on the fact that Cat Matlala had mentioned the kind of relationship that he has with Shadrack Sibiya. And in these recordings, so these are interview recordings that the investigators recorded of themselves speaking to Cat Matlala at the time. So Cat Matlala spoke about, I guess, Shadrack Sibiya and the closeness that they actually have, and to a point where, because he even referred or called Shadrack Sibiya a very greedy man, and the fact that he loves money, he loves money. Apparently, apparently they had actually bought. He bought Shadrack Sibiya 20 impalas. Yeah, 20 impalas, and the day that they arrived at the destination, which was a plot that Shadrack Sibiya actually owns, apparently all the impalas actually died. And Cat Matlala made a joke by saying that he probably should cleanse, or something, because there's no ways that animals can arrive within your property and then next thing they die. I'm inclined to actually agree with him on that one. But he's a corrupt man. He really is. One of the things that I actually wanted to touch on was on Shadrack Sibiya's testimony at the ad hoc committee, because he was somebody at first who had said after July 6th, after everything that General Mkhonazi actually said, he was like, okay, fine, I should be given an opportunity and a chance to actually put out my side of the story, because of the story isn't everything that Mkhonazi was actually telling us. And to those of us who are actually objective about the whole thing, we wanted to actually give him that chance, that opportunity to actually say, okay, fine, maybe there could be more to the story, maybe not everything that the general has actually spoken about, he didn't bring out a lot. But for Shadrack Sibiya to also, I think a week before his before going to the ad hoc, before being invited to the ad hoc, and when that raid that happened at his house where the police came in, rather it wasn't the police, it was SIU. No, it was SIU who came to his house and they confiscated his electronics, and he was busy talking about his family being traumatized by the manner in which the SIU came to his house and to his children. Yeah, but the mere fact that even with that, him and his lawyer had actually prepped whatever it is that they wanted to tell the press at the time. They made some sort of, I guess, illusion. Yeah, that's a better word to actually put it. An illusion. They created an illusion that he was getting arrested on that day and so forth. And one of the things that he kept saying was the fact that he feels betrayed, and he felt betrayed by the National Commissioner. But for a man who stood there and actually said, like, yeah, there's more to the story. He had a lawyer, he had prepped things. He went to the ad hoc committee. He had his own bundle of documents that he had prepared for the committee, that was prepared by his lawyers even. And for somebody who was that who seemed to be that organized, for him to get to the ad hoc committee and to do and for him to answering questions the way that he did, you could actually tell that this man was not prepped. There were times when he did not know which page he was actually referring to. There were competency tests. I know even Big Bill was also asked about his own competency test as well. There were competency tests that he took and he didn't pass, and he kept running around answering those questions as well, and he wasn't giving straight and direct answers. And I think there was one, I think Untuyo, or one of the ministers, one of the MPs from the ANC, ended up getting frustrated to a point where he was like, you know what, the thing about the general is the fact that he doesn't give us, it is not direct with his answers. Like, he's not direct at all, and it's kind of confusing actually listening to him. And there's a point where he actually demanded like a straight answer, especially when it came to him saying that Mkwenazi is well paid. And he actually asked him, like, okay, fine, what evidence do you have that Mkwenazi was actually paid? Like, who paid him according to you? And he tried to run around the answer, and I don't think he was actually prepared for that follow-up question as to, like, okay, fine, you're telling us that he's been bought or that he's well paid, so therefore tell us, who are these people, who are these funders that you're talking about? And he tried to run around the answer, and eventually he ended up mentioning the donations, the public donation that was made for General Mkwenazi, that he ended up publicly stating to the country that, you know what, thank you to everybody who donated. I'm not going to use the money for me, but I'd rather the funds be used for the orphans and the kids of the parents whose parents actually lost their lives on duty, you know, and which was a great gesture. But for him to actually kind of use that as well, because you could actually see that there's a lot of animosity, like a lot of animosity that Shadrack Sibiya actually has for General Mkwenazi. And also I think the feeling is a little mutual. I think at first Shadrack Sibiya didn't have any ill will or anything against Mkwenazi, but Mkwenazi, realizing the kind of character that General Sibiya was, is what turned him off. And one thing about General Mkwenazi, if he doesn't respect you, he will let it know. He would let it be known that there's no ways you cannot put me and that person in the same category, because he doesn't respect Sibiya. He doesn't at all. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. It is an embarrassment, the fact that Sibiya is his senior. But yeah, it's been quite interesting, everything that is unraveling and everything that is unfolding. Now, the big question that I actually do have is, what happens now? What happens post the commission? What happens post the ad hoc? What's going to happen then? What are South Africans going to do then? Because one thing's for sure, if at all no action is taken by the president, the head of state, if nothing is done by him, no arrests are made, no dismissals, no nothing, if we as a country don't get the justice that we want, is this country really gonna burn? Because one of the frustrating things that I did find about General Mkwenazi was the fact that some of the answers he couldn't give full and direct answers as to people and what they've done and which individuals who did this, who did that. And he kept being vague and saying that, oh, if I were to answer that, the country will burn down, and we needed those answers. As a country. And so I just want to know, because I don't think that South Africans, particularly my generation, the millennial generation, who are the adults right now, and we are around the same age as our parents during apartheid. And look at what they did. They fought the system. Some of our grandparents were actually against some of them actually doing what they were doing. But they still fought. They still, had marching protests. They had tear gases thrown at them. They had dogs chasing them. They had policemen, and everything was chaotic, but they still fought. So what's going to happen with our generation? What are we going to do after everything has been unraveled? Because I don't see it. I only see action on social media. That's it. I only see action on social media. I only see big talk on social media, but nothing on the ground. You know, it's hard for us to actually advocate for ourselves. And yeah, I am. I have to say, in as much as I am hopeful, but I don't see us getting ourselves and digging ourselves out of this hole that we find ourselves in. Because at the end of the day, next year, we're gonna vote in the local elections. 2029, we're still gonna vote again. You know? Nothing about the system is changing, nothing about us is changing. Nobody takes us seriously. You don't even take yourself seriously. And that is my frustration with being a young South African or being a millennial South African. So yeah, you guys who are watching, just tell me that what happens after here? What happens after the commission? What happens if the president does not deal with this matter the way that we want him to deal with it? If no heads are rolling, if no arrests have been made, if we get another conclusion like the Zondo Commission, what are we gonna do? I ask you. But second thing that I actually want to talk about, which I find funny. So there's been a letter that has gone around with Afrikaners in South Africa who are dismissing, or rather saying not in a name, in a way, talking about them not being part of the South Africans who want to be refugees in the United States, and who are saying that there's a white genocide, they are being killed, and there's persecution against them, and so forth. So that letter, for me, when I first saw it, and the people who had signed on, there are some prominent people, professors, and writers, and all that, and so forth. But my question actually remains, is that why now? Like, why you guys will be writing this letter right now? When we were going through the thick of it, in the beginning of the year especially, when the first time when Donald Trump said the things that he said, and then you'll find like a lot of mega people actually, who were behind this whole thing as well, who were behind all of these lies, and you guys kept quiet. A lot of white people kept quiet. A lot of white South Africans actually kept quiet, like, even though they were not saying that there's genocide that's going on, but many of them, even the ones who actually signed, kept quiet. And now that everything had actually kind of cooled down a bit, now they're bringing out this letter. And mind you, in the United States of America, there's a lot that's currently going on. Last week, I believe it's Friday, there was early voting in New York, and for mayoral candidate, if I'm not mistaken. Mayoral candidate. And so one of the candidates from the Democratic Party is a young man who is my age. His name is Mdlanga. And there's a lot of Islamophobia that's currently going on as well, because of him, because he's a Muslim American, born in Uganda. His middle name is Kwame, and his parents are, I'd say, probably more liberal than anything else. His father is an educator. He also worked in Cape Town. I'm not sure whether it's UCT or Stellenbosch University. But when 9/11 happened, the Mamdani family was actually in Cape Town, South Africa. But yeah, so there are a lot of people who are against it. The right has been speaking against it. People within his own party were not supporting his cause until very recently, right now, where there are some people who've actually started to back him up. But for the most part, the Democratic Party is not supportive of him and what he stands for, because a lot of his policies are more liberal, more left leaning than anything else. He wants to tax the rich by adding 2% more, which is quite reasonable. I mean, I also feel the same way. To him, much is given, much is expected, and for people who are rich to who are rich to try and not share. We're not saying necessarily that. I just believe that to whom much is given, much is expected, and so therefore being taxed a bit more is not going to take much away from your own wealth. You will still have your wealth, but you are currently living in a situation in the United States of America where people are being laid off. People are having these SNAP benefits, which is the equivalent to SASA, being taken away. The government has been shut down for a month or so. There's just a lot that is going on. There's homeless people. Right now, your renters and your farmers are also struggling because of the tariffs. And so, for rich people to not want to contribute to the country, it's sad. And the same thing is also going on in South Africa. I'm not only going to put the American government or American rich people. It's the same thing with us. It's the same thing wherever you find billionaires. The top 1% globally, they own a lot. They have a lot. But look at how many people are living in poverty. And yes, they do have philanthropic things that they do. They do have donations there and there, but they're also using those donations to bypass paying tax. And it's just, it's interesting. So going back to the Afrikaners and stuff like that, I just want to know, okay, what inspired them? What made them say? Because fine, they're saying that their name is being besmirched, and it's not all of them who are like that, and who are thinking like that, and that there is no. But I'm saying when your voices needed to be a bit louder, you guys said nothing. You contributed zero. And we were the ones, black people, colored people, some white people that I did see online. But it wasn't to the extent where you guys literally wrote a letter when things were hot, when globally, because at this point in time, the number of people in Mega who were in support of this has dwindled. The number of people globally who were supporting you, or who were supporting the whole white genocide theory, has dwindled. All the support has dwindled. Nobody really cares. And you guys find it right now to be appropriate for you guys to write that letter. We needed it months ago. And you guys didn't do anything about it. So that's my frustration with them. Another thing as well, Donald Trump has also announced the fact that they will have a cap on the number of Afrikaners that they'll be getting to the country, they'll be getting to the United States. So it's 7,500. So it has gone down from 100. I'm not sure. It was 100,000 plus somewhere. So it seems like an annual cap of 7,500. So gonna start right now. Earlier on in the year, I think 59 Okay, I'm laughing because I saw Colonel Chris or whoever was actually talking about how people were saying that what it was 49 Afrikaners who were the first batch who actually arrived and so that, and it's like, yeah, the media has been wrong. It's actually 59. I told you guys that fake news, and it's like it doesn't matter. 49, 59, it really doesn't matter. Oxalayo, the number is small. That's the point. It's less than 100, not even close to 100. So it doesn't matter. But in any case, but in any case, for me, I'm just asking myself, and I'm just wondering, what are these people, right? What are these Afrikaners who have signed out and who are still trying to sign up to go to the United States of America? I don't think they understand the state of America as it is right now. I don't think they know what is currently happening. First of all, in the United States of America, you're not going to find free public health like there is in South Africa. Currently, because of the government shutdown, people cannot get their SNAP benefits. And apparently they are cutting the SNAP benefits, which is the equivalent to SASSA. So imagine if the South African government was to cut SASSA. How many families of all races, because everybody's receiving SASSA. Just because South Africa is 80% black, and doesn't mean that there aren't white individuals who are on SASSA. But they, so yeah, if they get sick and so forth, there's no they'll have to pay for medical care in the US. And as far as I know, and as far as I remember, South Africa does have some of the best doctors in the world. A lot of Americans who come on this side can tell you how a little more better and a little more advanced the doctors this side actually are. Number three, the farmers in America currently struggling because of the tariffs that Trump has put. Now, they are soybean farmers who are actually now complaining and saying that they have nowhere to actually export their soybeans, their beans. One of the biggest market that they used to actually supply to was China. And now, remember, China has the biggest, America has the biggest tariff between all countries. I guess it's because of the competition between the United States of America and China. So, yeah, so because of those tariffs, they have no way to actually sell their goods. And to top it off, the beef ranchers needed also they needed a subsidy, they need a government subsidy, which Trump has not given them, and it doesn't seem like he's planning to give them anytime soon, because Donald Trump has also given Argentina money. So right now the farmers are struggling in America, and especially those in the South. I think Kansas, Texas, and so forth, and those, remember, are the states where they are trying to repatriate these Afrikaners to actually go to. And mind you, those Afrikaners as well, they're gonna have to find them jobs. They find them jobs within the farming industry to go farm. Where they're gonna get the money to actually pay them? Right now, with SNP benefits being cut, who's going to sponsor their lifestyle because of the government shutdown? So I just want to understand do they really understand? Do they really know what's going on in the US currently? But in any case, you know what? They can do whatever it is that they want. If they feel these greener pastures, let them go. I just hate the fact that our names are being dragged You know, as Black South Africans, we are, people are looking at us in a way that we are busy and we're going after these people and so forth, and it's not, you know, we are the ones who are benefiting from the economy and they not. There's 149 race-based laws, even though some of those laws also favor white women and people who are disabled. But then again, we're not going to talk about that because we need to say it and we need to make it about race. So let them go to the country that puts race above anything and everything else. And they must go with the people who are crying on a daily basis on TikTok about SNAP benefits being taken away from them. Christmas is around the corner. Thanksgiving, I'm not sure when, but I know that it's in November. People are not going to have food to put on the table because of the government shutdown and the SNAP benefits not being there. So good luck. Good luck, Afrikaners going to the United States of America. I'm gonna visa any Amerikaners. But they also said something about Targas, the great, never mind, the great tech. But yeah, I hope it works out for y'all. But yeah, in any case, 30 minutes, that's done. Yeah, have a great Saturday. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I hope all of you are great. But yeah, that's my rant and goodbye.